Hey, how's it going? So today I want to talk to you about the percentages and types of anchor text. And before I talk to you about that, you need to know what an anchor text is, and I'm sure you know by now, but I'm just going to refresh your memory. An anchor text is basically the text that's clickable on a web page that redirects you to another page. Okay, so most of the times it has a different color. You click it and you're redirected to another page or another site. Now, when building links, it's important to keep in mind what anchor text we use, okay? Because if we use 100% exact match anchors, which I'll explain in a bit what they are, you're probably going to be penalized, okay? So before moving on to those examples, these percentages here, as you can see, branded anchors are 70%. You should use them 70% of the time, while exact match anchors, you should use them less than 1% of the time. And again, this is just for you to have a point of reference. You don't have to do this by these exact percentages, okay? This is just for you to know that you must use branded anchors most of the times, while exact match anchors much less of the times. Now, it's important to know where to use them, where to use each. That's what I'll cover later on. Now, so let's say your site is bakerbrothers.plumbing.com. Okay, and I think this is an actual site. I just wrote Plumber Dallas in Google, and this was the one that appeared. I'm not in any way affiliated with them, but let's say that's your site. So your main keyword would be Plumber Dallas, because you're a plumbing company in Dallas, and that's the keyword that has the highest search volume in that niche. So your main keyword is Plumber Dallas. Branded anchors would be the name of your company. So Baker Brothers Plumbing with a capital B. Again, Baker's Brothers Plumbing, all in capital letters, and Baker's Brothers Plumbing Company. These are branded anchors. They are the name of your brand. Now, naked link anchors. This is just the naked URL. So bakerbrothers.plumbing.com and the full URL with the HTTPS. Okay, these are naked anchors. Now, you also have generic anchors. These are something like click here, learn more, visit our website, see our services. So basic generic anchors, generic words. Okay. Then you have partial match or long tail versions of your keyword. So if your main keyword is Plumber Dallas, a long tail version will be Plumber in Dallas or Best Plumber in Dallas. And as you can see, the keyword Plumber Dallas is still included in those long tail versions of the keyword, but with some words in the middle. Again, number one plumber in Dallas, plumbing company in Dallas, Plumber Dallas, Dallas Plumber, etc. They're long versions of your keyword. And finally, the exact match keyword, which is the main keyword, is Plumber Dallas. But now, the why. The goal here is to use little exact match anchors and partial match anchors on the weakest links, so you can use them on the strongest links like PBNs and guest posts. And this, now you can ask me, why don't we just use exact match and partial match anchors on all of the links, on both the weak and the strong? It's simple, because if we only use exact match and partial match anchors on all of the links, we would be penalized by Google for not having a diversification in our anchor text. It will not look natural. This is because it's very suspicious. Sorry, for example, a site about dentists in Dallas, just to have links pointing to the site with Dallas dentist. So the anchor text only being Dallas dentist, so only the exact match anchor. This is a red flag for Google, because Google sees that you're clearly trying to do SEO and manipulate the rankings, so it will penalize you. So it's important to have diversification in your anchor text, and it makes much more sense since you have to play with the percentages. So since you have to use exact match anchors and you can only use them in about 1% of your links, it only makes sense to use them in your more powerful links. So if you're building a link from, let's say, a comment link, for example, you would not use your exact match keyword, okay? You would use a branded anchor or just a naked URL or a generic anchor, okay? Because you have to make the most out of your links, and you sort of have like a quota you can't reach. So let's say you can only you're only building 100 links. So this means you can only use one of those links with an exact match anchor. It would not make sense to use that exact match anchor in a comment link, because it's not really that powerful. It would make sense to use it in a PBN or a guest post. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Again, imagine that you have a certain quota or a certain number of limit of exact match anchors and partial match anchors that you can use. And as you know, exact match anchors and partial match anchors are keywords that you want to rank, that you want your site to rank for. Okay, not that you don't want your brand name to rank as well, but most likely you want people to reach your site by searching your exact match keyword, because most likely people won't search your brand on Google and won't search your URL on Google. People will just search the exact match keywords or the long tail keywords. So for example, plumber in Dallas. Okay, and again, imagine if you want to build 100 links or 20 links with exact match and partial match anchors. It wouldn't make sense to use those anchors in weaker links. Okay, because it would be sort of a waste. Okay, so make sure you follow these percentages and use only branded anchors and naked link anchors in your weaker links, and leave the partial match anchors and the exact match anchors for your most powerful links. Okay, and I hope that made sense. This is sort of an image that explains what I just said. Basically, the top one is what you do not want to do. So as you can see, they built 6 links, and 4 of those 6 links, so more than 50%, is exact match anchors. So that's what you don't want to do. On the other hand, on the bottom, the green one, they built again 6 links, and only one of them is an exact match anchor. As you also have branded, you also have generic, you also have naked link anchors. Okay, so there's a mix. So again, these are the percentages, and again, you don't have to follow this exactly. It's just for you to have a generic idea of what you need to more or less follow. Okay, I hope that made sense, and I'll see you in the next video.